friends, welcome back to the channel Chemistry Made Easy. I am Elizabeth Matthew with another video lesson on electrochemical cell and Gibbs free energy. I hope it is beneficial to many of our plus 2 students. Keep watching. Now let's move on to today's topic. Electrochemical cell and free energy. Gibbs free energy. In the previous lessons we saw what is electrochemical cell. What is the purpose of electrochemical cell? Electrochemical cells are the devices used for converting chemical energy of a redox reaction into electrical energy. Using electrochemical cell, we can produce electricity. This electricity is actually produced from certain types of chemical reaction occurring from that cell. Here, the chemical energy is directly converted to electrical energy. Chemical energy means chemical energy in the form of free energy, Gibbs free energy. Okay, here Gibbs free energy is converted to electrical energy. Also, we can say that here the system does work by transferring electrical energy through the circuit. So, the maximum work done by an electrochemical cell is equal to decrease in Gibbs free energy. That is, the maximum work done by an electrochemical cell is equal to decrease in Gibbs free energy. From electrochemical cell, we can produce electrical energy from where? From certain chemical reaction, electricity is produced. Here, chemical energy, that is Gibbs free energy, is converts to electrical energy. So, how much decrease occurs in Gibbs free energy, that much work is done by the system. So, the maximum work done by an electrochemical cell is equal to, that is, we can represent it as W max, the maximum work obtained from an electrochemical cell, or the maximum work done by an electrochemical cell is equal to decrease in Gibbs free energy. The Gibbs free energy change can be represented by the symbol delta G. So W maximum is equal to minus delta G. Okay. Similarly, we can say that the maximum work done by an electrochemical cell is equal to, it can be obtained by multiplying the total charge passed into cell potential. The total charge passed into cell potential. This is the maximum work. If Q is the total charge passed, or this total charge can be represented as N into F. What is N? Number of electrons or number of moles of electrons. F is Faraday's constant. What is Faraday's constant? Faraday's constant is actually the charge carried by, charge in coulombs, which is carried by 1 mole of electron. F is charge carried by 1 mole of electron. If there are n moles of electron, the total charge carried by the system is equal to N into F. Into, what is cell potential? Cell potential is E cell. The maximum work can be obtained by multiplying total charge passed into cell potential. So W max is equal to N into F into E cell. Here N into F represents the total charge and E cell is the cell potential. Here we have the expression W max is equal to decrease in free energy. Here W max is equal to N into F into E cell. So we can equate and we can write delta G is minus delta G is equal to N into F into E, or delta G is equal to minus N into F into E cell. This is the expression for decrease in free energy, or this is expression for free energy change in an electrochemical cell. So delta G is equal to minus N into F into E. If the concentration of the species involved in an electrochemical cell, if you consider Daniell cell, so if zinc rod is dipped in 1 molar zinc sulfate solution and copper rod dipped in 1 molar copper sulfate solution, then we can say it is in standard condition. That cell is in standard condition. Now the potential of that cell can be represented as E0 cell. In that cases, the change in free energy can be represented as delta G0. If it is in standard state, we can write this equation as delta G0 is equal to minus n. N is a constant, F is another constant, minus n into F into E0 cell. This is the relationship between free energy change and the cell potential. Here, it relates the standard free energy change and the standard cell potential. This equation relates the free energy change and the cell potential. Okay, I think everything is clear for you. Next, we move on to another topic. Measurement of the conductivity of electrolytic solution. Measurement of the conductivity of electrolytic solution. Before discussing it, it is necessary to define a few terms. Okay, first one is resistance. First term we have to discuss is resistance. What is resistance? It is familiar to all of us. What is resistance? Resistance is the obstruction to the flow of electricity. Resistance is the obstruction to the flow of electricity and it is denoted by the symbol R and it is measured in which unit? Ohm is the unit. Okay, then it is found that the resistance of an object is directly proportional to the length of the object and it is inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the object. Okay, we can write resistance R is directly proportional to the length L of the object and it is inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the object. So we can write R is proportional to L by A, where L represents the length of that object and A represents its area of cross section. Okay, then we can multiply it with a constant. So R is equal to a proportionality constant and that constant is represented as rho, a Greek letter rho into L by A. So resistance R is equal to rho into L by A. What is rho? Rho is a proportionality constant and that proportionality constant is known as specific resistance or resistivity. Okay, R is equal to rho into L by A. This rho is a proportionality constant. What is its name? It is known as specific resistance or resistivity. Okay, then what is specific resistance or resistivity? It is the resistance offered when length of the object is 1 meter and its area of cross section is 1 meter square. If we put the value of L is equal to 1 meter and area of cross section A is equal to 1 meter square, then rho is equal to R. So we can define rho resistivity or specific resistance as it is the resistance when the length of the object is 1 meter and area of cross section is 1 meter square. Okay, and the unit of this specific resistance or resistivity is ohm meter. Okay, this is the SI unit of specific resistance or resistivity. Okay, next, here we already discussed what is resistance and what is specific resistance or resistivity. Now let's move on to next term, that is conductance. Conductance. It is denoted by the symbol G. In certain cases, the symbol C is used. But in your textbook, in NCERT textbook, symbol G is used there. Okay, then what is conductance? Conductance is the reciprocal. Conductance G is the reciprocal of resistance. So what is conductance? Conductance is the reciprocal of the resistance and its unit is ohm raised to -1. Okay, its SI unit is Siemens. Siemens is the SI unit of conductance. It is the inverse of the resistance. So we can write an equation. What is resistance? R is equal to rho into L by A. So 1 by R is equal to 1 by R is the conductance. G is equal to 1 by rho into A by L. This is the expression for conductivity. 1 by rho into L by A. Okay, then next term is conductivity. Conductivity. The reciprocal of the resistivity is known as conductivity. What is conductivity? The reciprocal of the resistivity is known as conductivity and it is denoted by the symbol. Conductivity is denoted by the symbol Kappa. This is also another Greek alphabet, kappa. And this is actually what conductivity. Kappa is the reciprocal of the resistivity rho. Okay. Then the magnitude of the conductivity of various substance depends upon the nature of the substance, temperature and pressure at which observations are made. These are the factors which affects the conductivity of solution. Okay, depending upon the magnitude of this conductivity value, substances are classified into conductors, semiconductors, insulators, superconductors, etc. What are conductors? The conductivity value is very high. That substance is known as conductors. Metals are good conductors. Similarly, if conductivity value is very low, that is known as, or conductivity value is 0, that is known as insulators. Glass, ceramics, etc. are examples of insulators. But certain substances have the conductivity range in between conductors and insulators. That substances are semiconductors. Example, silicon, arsenic, silicon arsenide. All these are the examples of semiconductors. Okay. Then conductors are mainly classified into two types. Conductors are mainly classified into two types. First one is metallic conductors. Metallic conductors. Next one is electrolytic conductors. Conductors are electrolytic conductors. Metallic conductors and electrolytic conductors. We know that all metals are good conductors of electricity. Similarly, certain solutions, electrolytes can easily pass current through it. Okay, that means certain solutions can conduct electricity. Similarly, almost all metals can conduct electricity. That type of conductors, in metal, conductivity is due to the presence of free electrons in them. Here, in metals, electrons are the current carriers. So, metallic conductors are otherwise known as electronic conductors. Metallic conductors or electronic conductors. In these type of conductors, metals are the example. In metals, the conductivity is due to the, or conducting nature, conductance is due to the presence of free electrons in them. Since free electrons are the current carriers, these are otherwise known as electronic conductors. Okay, the next type is electrolytic conductors. Electrolytes are current carrier. Through electrolytes, current can easily pass. Okay, due to the presence of ions, these become good conductors. Okay, metallic conductors, due to the presence of free electrons, it can conduct. Electrons are the current carriers in metallic conductors, whereas ions are the current carriers in electrolytic conductors. In electrolytic conductors, ions are the current carriers. So, in electrolytic conductors are otherwise known as ionic conductors. So, conductors are of two types depending upon the conductivity. Conductors, insulators, semiconductors, so many materials are there. Conductors are of mainly two types, metallic conductors and electrolytic conductors. In metallic conductors, electrons are the current carriers, whereas in electrolytic conductors, ions are the current carriers. Then, what are the factors affecting the conductivity of metallic conductors? What are the factors affecting conductivity of metallic conductors? That may be a short question. Nature and the structure of the material is one of the important factors. Nature and the structure of the material. Then second one is number of valence electrons present. Greater the number of free electrons, greater will be the conductivity. This is the second factor which affects the conductivity of metallic conductor. Then third one is temperature, which is most important. As temperature increases, metallic conductivity or conductivity of metallic conductors decreases. As temperature increases, conductivity decreases. Why? As temperature increases, the molecules present or metal atoms present in that metal rod starts vibrating. As a result of that vibration, there exists a resistance. So, as temperature increases, conductivity value, in the case of metallic conductors, conductivity value decreases. Okay, then what are the factors affecting metallic conductors? nature and structure of the material. Second one is number of free electrons, valence electron. If valence electron increases, the conductivity value also increases. Third one is temperature. Temperature increases, conductivity value decreases if that type of conductor is metallic conductor. Okay, the next one is electrolytic conductor. Electrolytic conductors are solution. Certain solution can conduct electricity. That type of conductors are known as electrolytic conductors. Okay, here also what are the factors affecting electrolytic conductivity of electrolytic conductors? Here the nature of the electrolyte, size of the ions present in electrolyte, nature of the solvent. Then another factor is temperature. In the case of electrolytic conductors, as temperature increases, conductivity also increases. This was one short question. It was asked. What is the difference? What is the effect of temperature on the conductivity of metallic conductors and the electrolytic conductors? In metallic conductors, conductivity value decreases with the increase in temperature, whereas in electrolytic conductors, conductivity value increases with the increase in temperature. Most important thing that affects the conductivity of electrolytic solution is the availability of ions. Number of ions present in the electrolytic solution is maximum. Its conductivity value will be maximum. So, what is the effect of temperature on the conductivity of electrolytic solution? As temperature increases, the availability of ion will be, number of ions present in the solution will be maximum. The degree of dissociation will be maximum at a maximum temperature. So, in the case of electrolytic conductors, as temperature increases, conductivity value also increases. Whereas in metallic conductors, as temperature increases, conductivity value decreases. It has been a short question many times. That's what all about today's topic. Thank you very much.